It is 6 minutes after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show this Wednesday, October 29. Cameron Smith is with us. He is apparently going for Halloween as a drug dealer supporter.
Yeah.
Based on his position on this Venezuela deal. I'm Matt Murphy, and I hold mostly the same position, but I'm backing out of the room and leaving him by himself with all of you.
He's going as a fairy for Halloween.
Uh-huh. What are you? Are you going to dress up?
I usually hand out the candy and hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my thing.
Do you guys hand out large amounts of alcoholic beverages to the adults?
No, but that happens all over our neighborhood.
Yeah.
But my neighbors and I usually get in the cul-de-sac and, put like a little fire in the middle of the cul-de-sac and just hang out and hand out candy, and it's fun.
Burn things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's nice. What was the movie? Is it Meet Me in St. Louis? Where during Halloween what did they talk about? They talk about it was not killing people. It was when they threw flour in somebody's face. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is this making any sense to you?
The reference connects.
But the weirdest part about that part of the movie is that, and E is all over this. She's like screaming at the radio right now. I know she is, because this is one of her favorite movies. But it's Meet Me in St. Louis. Judy Garland, back in the day when everybody's excited about the World Fair coming to St. Louis. And during Halloween, I think they said they killed them. They talked about killing them, but killing them is throwing flour on somebody and poof it in their face. But during that Halloween scene, the young kids were burning. They had this huge bonfire in the middle of the road, and they were burning like furniture.
Yeah, as you do.
And when I was a kid and I watched this, like, what? Why are they burning furniture? They're burning like household items.
If you have not burned a couch from the 70s, you are missing out. There is a reason why we have flame retardant fabrics now, and it's couches from the 70s.
Several years ago, Erica gave up on, she had several large containers at her father's house, parents' house. And these had her stuffed animals from the late 70s, I guess, late 70s in them. And she gave them up. And, of course, these are old, these are dirty, these are not, child safe.
You need to burn them.
So we burned them. We did. The colors of the flames. And I know I took chemistry 1 and chemistry 2. And I know that different chemicals burn in different colors. And the array of colors.
Rainbow.
It was a rainbow of colors. My Lord in heaven. And the speed at which they would go up. It's insane that any of us lived.
Yeah, you need to, and really you just need to burn furniture. Like, it's fun. Yeah. It's just fun. Do it.
Burn anything. I'm an absolute pyromaniac. 100% pyromaniac.
It's good for you.
Judy Garland is Esther. Yes, the Loot Pile, the best movie. Cam, do you live in Ballinger? They do that there, too.
Yeah, in fact, in the whole town of Nolensville on Friday night, the football game versus Page.
Bunch of insane people in Nolensville.
They are, and I love them, every last one of them. The game with Nolensville High School is on Thursday night against Page, at Page, so we can, celebrate Halloween. And no, this is not a weird culty thing. It's just an excuse for adults, like once a year, to act like children. And it's great.
I just lament the fact, and you and I did a podcast on this, I lament the fact that the adults have stolen yet another childhood holiday. Mm-hmm. We take them all, and we turn them into a huge drunk fest.
Yeah.
And, what are you going to be for Halloween? I'm going to be a sexy lawyer. I'm going to be a sexy kitty cat.
Right.
I'm going to be a sexy fire person.
And that thought in your head is fueled by the alcohol, because otherwise you're just a sexy sausage.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Jackson, which did you decide on? Are you going to be a sexy lawyer, a sexy kitty cat, or a sexy fire person for Halloween?
What?
He was trying to be a sexy Vols fan, but they don't have a costume for that.
I love it when I catch Jackson when he's not been listening to the show. I just accused you of deciding between sexy kitty cat, sexy fire person, that would be a fireman, or sexy lawyer as to what you're going for Halloween. Cameron has suggested that you're going as a what?
A sexy Vols fan, but they don't have a costume for that.
Hey-o! I just wanted you to be able to deliver the joke again because I stepped on it. Anything but reading these nasty messages to us, like 7522, I feel like he's being a little sarcastic when she says, it sure is a shame President Trump isn't calling the Matt Murphy show to get his legal and constitutional advice from you constitutional scholars. I suggest Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton. You two are such wise constitutional scholars. It's a shame Trump doesn't have y'all on his cabinet to rely on. You know what? I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would agree with that. So the question for all of you, I suppose, my suggestion is not anything other than I'm becoming uncomfortable with this modus operandi. I'm becoming uncomfortable with it being a standard operating procedure that we're going to identify boats that the administration says are narco-terrorist in nature, that these are boats with large amounts of drugs on them. We identify them, we see them, we chart them, and instead of stopping them and or arresting them, we decide to execute the people on board.
Yeah,
and if we are at war, then that necessarily means that the next stage of this is going to be boots on the ground, I suppose, in Venezuela or wherever.
Right.
And are you comfortable with that? I thought no more forever wars.
Well, there's a reason that we're doing narco-terrorism instead of just drug dealers, because they're drug runners, right?
That's what they are, yeah.
That is what they are. If you use that nomenclature, then it's clearly a law enforcement issue because it's a crime. The Coast Guard grabs these guys all the time, and they prosecute them.
Right.
That's what they do. And this is new because we've said narco-terrorism. And for those of you out there who've pointed to the 2001 authorization of military force that Congress, it was a joint resolution, September 18th, 2001, in response to 9/11, and saying, if you call someone a terrorist, then you can kill them. That's not what that says. It's very clearly tied to 9/11, and this is not that. This is a separate thing. So there is no AUMF. Congress is not authorizing this, and I just don't see that there's a clear constitutional argument here for Trump having authority. And frankly, I thought the No Kings protests were dumb because they were inflatable and weird, and Trump was elected. But like one of the differences between the American president and a king is that there are checks and balances and legal processes and this document called the Constitution that bind the power of the president of the United States. And the moment that you say, well, I don't care, or they deserved it, or they had it coming, well, then we kind of...
We lose the rule of law is what we lose.
And the rule of law is the difference. That's the thing.
The rule of law is everything. And I understand the emotional... I don't give a crap about drug dealers either. I really don't.
Right.
And I'm not suggesting that the president has done anything illegal, but I do think we're exploiting a loophole in the law that makes me a little bit uncomfortable in terms of where this can be taken. In other words, when we have, God forbid, we have a president, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and she starts bombing people off the coast of Florida. What are you going to say then? Are you okay with it? If she calls them narco-terrorists?
Yeah.
And you say, well, wait a minute, how do you know that they're narco-terrorists? We need some checks and balances here. And they'll go, well, you didn't have any checks and balances with Trump.
Right. And I'd go so far as to say it probably is unconstitutional under the Fifth Amendment. Like, I would look at that and say this violates the due process protections there because we have a process for war and we have a process for law enforcement. But this, where it's not really a war, but it's clearly not law enforcement, or it's not being handled like law enforcement, it's just a gap that's not right. And so whether it's illegal, I don't know. I can tell you, I think it's pretty clearly unconstitutional.
Well, the president of the United States, and I'll get to your calls here in just a second, but the president of the United States has asserted that he has the legal authority to do this because he has designated these groups as narco-terrorists, and that the U.S. military has the authority to strike against narco-terrorists in international waters because the United States of America is now in armed conflict with drug cartels. And I get all of that. Well, at some point, if we're in ongoing armed conflict, the president is required to report to the Congress.
He's got to go to Congress. And he's got to say, hey, we're at war. And what he's using is the rhetoric of war without any of the normal, vestiges of war.
And the Trump administration has yet, and once again, I just want some explaining from the Trump administration. Help me understand how all of this is legal, because the president says, or his team says, that they have a legal opinion that justifies military strikes against these cartels.
What is it?
Show me that legal opinion.
Right.
And if you can't, at least explain to me why you can't show me that legal opinion.
And there's no reason for that to be classified.
Right.
That's ridiculous. You're not saying, where are the drug dealers?
Right.
Or
Nobody's
who
asking
they are.
you that.
It is the legal theory.
And if there is any question about the guilt or innocence of people on these boats, should we not take the path that would protect potentially innocent lives? Meaning, and once again, the reason that it's so difficult to argue is because people will accuse you of taking up for drug dealers. Yeah, they're not innocent. They're drug dealers. But, I could paint a scenario where, you and I run a boat and we're paid large amounts of money to run this boat from here to there. And they're like, we're going to pay you a lot of money, but don't ask any questions about what's on the boat. Mm-hmm. And then we get killed too. Well, were we narco-terrorists, or were we just used by narco-terrorists for their own purposes and then we were killed in the crossfire?
And again, this isn't about guilt or innocence. This is about the process. All that the Constitution requires is due process. And so if the answer is we got to kill these guys.
Well, then justify that to Congress and move on and let's kill them.
Bingo.
Let's go.
There's a way, but it's not this.
I love it when I get a call like this. And I don't know if this will fulfill my every hope and dream, but it says Josh, and it says that Josh wants to talk about Cameron.
It's a big problem.
And I am so hopeful that Josh wants to yell at Cameron Smith. Hey, Josh, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Yes, I do actually want to semi-yell at him.
Get him.
Got a question for you. You keep citing Fifth Amendment due process.
Yeah.
And I'm a little confused on how extraterritorial application of the Fifth Amendment applies here.
Because the Fifth Amendment says persons. And it does not have a geographic limitation to it. Any other questions?
Okay, so geographic location specifically to persons, and there's no additional documentation when that was written up on where they drew that from, like from the Enlightenment, from any of the other documents from the founders?
The Fifth Amendment says, it refers to persons very clearly and says, hey, it's a limitation on the federal government. You can't take life, liberty, or property without due process of law. And so if it's saying it's a limitation on government power itself. It's not saying, hey, people, here's the thing. It's federal government. When you act, this is a limitation. You can't do it without due process.
Okay. And the due process that would govern this is usually the international treaties. Do we have any international treaties with Venezuela that would add any additional piece to that would actually make this need to be dealt with immediately?
What is the due process? What is the due process that allows the killing of people in the Gulf of Mexico?
You're sidestepping the question there. The specific question is, generally when we're dealing with international issues like this,
sure,
the U.S. has always delved into treaties. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but that doesn't – then where's the treaty that says you can do this?
Exactly. I guess that's the question here.
It's not there.
On the person.
Well, but isn't it incumbent upon the I'm not taking sides here, Josh, but I would ask, isn't it incumbent upon the entity that's doing the killing to demonstrate the treaty that authorizes the killing?
Ultimately, yes.
And so,
here's another
and by the way, Josh, all I'm asking for is a few notes of explanation from the Trump administration. Yeah. When this was a 1 or a 2 or a 3 off, but it seems to be a policy of the Trump administration now, and I'm just asking for what their legal opinion that they're relying on is exactly as to how they can continue to do this in the fashion that they're doing it without going to Congress and saying we're in armed conflict with an entity, we're at war with a narco state.
And I agree with that specific point you just made, Matt. My only struggle with reconciling this is I've watched 20 years of this where they've actually got submarines, high-dollar boats, and actually have the makings of a Navy now. And that has literally been ignored by the last administration for the most part. And that's how they're getting most of the poison here.
If you want to declare war, then Trump should declare war. He should go to Congress and say, I need the authorization. And then we have due process, and then I'm fine. So I feel like, Josh, you don't want to yell at me that much.
I do.
Well,
I do, Josh.
My version of yelling is definitely just asking questions, and then I can get impassioned if I want.
No. I love it. And I don't think, and thank you, Josh, for the call. I don't think we're very far away. I think from an emotional standpoint, when most people hear that there are drug dealers being killed, we're like, well,
they shrug. Okay.
Whatever. Drug dealers being killed. But then if that's going to become a policy of the Trump administration, then I need to know more about what legal authority. Is this a military force happening, or is it a criminal force happening? If it's a criminal force, there's a very different thing. So I think the Trump administration has been clear that this is a military operation.
It's DOD doing the killing.
So if it's a military operation, that's good. That's great. I'm still good with you. Then just explain to me, if we're in armed conflict, there's either an immediate and direct threat that you have to handle, which you are authorized to handle as president of the United States without having to go to Congress. But if it's an ongoing policy, you have to go to Congress.
Well, and the problem I have with these boats is you can say this is the immediate threat. But then by that, in that standard, the word immediate threat carries legal meaning. So like in the United States, if there's somebody here and they are holding drugs, I can't shoot them as an immediate threat because that's not what that means. But typically, that immediate threat is what we use for self-defense and stuff like that.
Right. If there's somebody that points, if someone is standing on a street corner and they're a known drug dealer, and they point a gun at a police officer, the police officer put them down.
They get shot.
Put them down.
Mm-hmm.
If they point a bag of cocaine at them,
they get arrested. Yeah, and these guys are on boats that allegedly have drugs in them. They are not shooting anyone, and I'm not saying that this is not harmful activity. It clearly is. But our response to this type of thing is law enforcement and has been law enforcement.
Jeff will get to you. Mike will get to you. Stephen will get to you. It's 24 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Da-ba-da-ba-bum. Bam. Ba-da-ba-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. How would Congress declare war on an outfit such as a drug cartel that have no recognized sovereignty in the world? Don't you have to have a defined parameter of something to declare war on? Yes, and I think that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point, right? I suppose that you could declare war on entities.
Well, here's the problem, is that we have used this language for a long time, the war on drugs, right?
Yeah, right.
But this is law enforcement. We are arresting people. They are breaking and violating the law. War is a very different thing. You know, war has historically been, sovereign forces versus one another. I mean, in theory, you could have a multinational situation. War is a very specific thing, and we've blurred the lines with terrorist organizations, right? After 9/11, the sort of traditional notion of war changed. And because
the borders were kind of broken down.
Right.
With those guys.
We have, and as Josh mentioned, some of these drug organizations are very large and very sophisticated, have a lot of armaments. And so they do have this almost quasi-military feel to them.
100%.
And so in theory, you could handle it a lot of different ways, but I still think you got to go to Congress. Like if you're going to have ongoing battles or DOD engagements, you need to say, hey, Congress, here's what we're doing. Here's the game plan. If you want to take out the entire organization, like you want to take out Trinidad and Aragua.
I don't have
fine.
And my thing is, I don't have a single problem with this, except that I would like the Trump administration to be a little more forthcoming about where their legal authority is and exactly what their theories are behind it. And, and I understand people like 8530 says blow them out of the water. They're in international waters, damn sure not fishing. So blow them out of the water. Okay. If that's the standard that you want, if you want an America that just arbitrarily blows, I mean, that's cool. That's good. I don't think
I think that's a bad idea.
Some will, some won't. Others disagree. Josh, Jeff, Mike, and Steven, I promise I'll go to all of you, not simultaneously, when we come back on Super Talk. Hey, by the way, I am alerted to this, and my good people up in Sumner County, give you a little heads up. There is a library. You know, we talked with Riley Gaines. She was just named on the library board of Sumner County, which is pretty cool for her. Just had a baby, too. She's a brand new mama. We had her on last week. The Sumner County Library Board meeting is happening tomorrow at 4 o'clock at the Sumner County Administration Building, which is in Gallatin. It's Riley Gaines' first meeting with the board. There are 2 items on the agenda. One, hiring library directors in Hendersonville and Westmoreland, and the other is the policy to remove transgender ideological books from the library in order to prevent tax dollars from purchasing or promoting these items. So those 2 items are on the agenda tomorrow night at 4 o'clock, and the folks up in Sumner County want everyone to know in Sumner County that if you want to go, it's open to the public. Belvedere Drive in Gallatin. It's the library board meeting in Sumner County happening tomorrow night at 4 o'clock. Fill that joint. Let them know how you feel about it all. Matt Murphy, Cameron Smith, 20 until the top of the hour. As promised, we'll get to your calls, and I'm going to go to Jeff, who's been holding the longest. Jeff, the floor is yours, my friend. How are you?
Hey, doing real good. Hey, Matt, I've got an idea for Cameron's Halloween outfit.
All right, let's hear it. This is going to be good.
I think we should shave his head.
Okay.
Glue a horse's tail to his chin.
Yeah.
Have him and gargle some Drano, and he could go as Dale Jackson.
That is hilarious.
That took a turn. You didn't think I was going there, did you?
No. Oh, our good friend Dale Jackson.
Live, local, Dale Jackson. If you know, you know. Dale's a good friend. He's a talk show host in Chattanooga and Huntsville, Alabama.
Yep.
Yes.
I like that. That was excellent.
I thought you would. Cameron likes it even better, I think. But no, we're talking about this narco-terrorism stuff, though. But, think about what Obama did whenever he was doing this. He was actually taking out American citizens overseas with drone strikes and stuff. So, and he got away with it, basically. So, and I'm like you. I'm uncomfortable with him doing it the way they're doing it. If they're going to do something like this, they should at least wait till they get into U.S. waters and then take care of them or something. But, I don't see they necessarily having to do it in international waters.
Well, we have the Coast Guard for that. Like, literally, that's how we handle it. All those videos you've seen of them, like, catching the submarine and the boats and stuff, they catch these things all the time. Like, it is run-of-the-mill.
No, we are deciding to make it a policy that the best way to handle the potential for drug dealers to coming toward our country is to kill them. Just unilaterally kill them.
Yeah.
And if we are going to have and for me, and you know what? I mean, I understand, and Jeff, thank you for the call. I understand the emotional response of screw them. I get it. And I'm kind of right there with you. But if it's going to be the policy of the United States of America to kill people in international waters that we deem a threat, is it too much to ask what the process is by which we deem them a threat? Is that too much to ask?
No.
I don't think it is. And I think all of us would be asking that question if this were Joe Biden's administration. All of us would be asking that question if it were a Democrat attempting to do these types of things. Now, you can make an argument that a Democrat would never do it, but for the purposes of our conversation, we trust this guy. I trust this guy. I trust this Department of Defense. I trust Pete Hegseth. That's all well and good, but the Constitution is there for a reason, too.
I'm just cranky because I don't ever trust politicians. I just don't. Like, maybe it's like a trust but verify. Like,
yeah, sure.
Hey, I hear, but I've told you this. It's actually the politicians I like the most that I want to make sure that I'm verifying what they say because I'm not as vigilant. I'm not as critical. If AOC comes out and says something, I'm like, I'm probably not going to like that. And then I start there and then get to liking it. With Trump, it's like, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And then I got to get to a place where it's like,
Right.
And so I have to intentionally be critical.
Stephen is next. Stephen wants to talk about drug dealers, too. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for taking my call.
Of course.
I love this, man. This is at the top of my priority list on things that we should be doing. I know you guys are, into the legal matters and all that, but I trust in my DEA agency. I trust in Tulsi Gabbard. I trust in all the hardworking narco officers out there that are fighting against this. And it is a war. It don't necessarily have to be boots on the ground. But at this point, I mean, if you was a somewhat innocent person and you were being asked to just get on this boat and take this boat across waters after you've already heard that these boats are getting blown to smithereens out in the middle of the ocean, I mean, what decision would you make? So, it's not like this is a cruise ship full of people and there's 2 or 3 narco-terrorists on there with a bunch of cocaine. These boats are being sent. And I have faith in our system. I believe that, Trump is not telling everybody what to do, but he's giving them the okay. I think they know what they're doing. I haven't heard anything of any people that were murdered or killed innocently pushing any lawsuits against us or anything like that.
They're dead.
Well, their family or anybody else that, I mean, if you put yourself in their shoes, say your aunt went on a boat, got blown up by America, are you not going to fight for her? Are you not going to try to press charges or find somebody to speak out against that?
I'm Aunt Margarita in Venice. Where do I file that lawsuit, Stephen?
Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Hold on a second. But I mean, where would we file the lawsuit? I mean, it's a genuine question. I don't know either.
Well, I don't know either, but I'm just looking at it like,
So you think this is constitutional? Like it's totally kosher with due process of the Fifth Amendment that says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. You think this satisfies that? I don't think we're breaking any laws. I think we're, our intel. I think we have CIA, maybe FBI, DEA. They're watching this stuff. They're seeing it. That's why Trump came out talking about Maduro in the first place. They know that it's coming from there, along with other countries too. I think this is the first part in a multi-sting operation that we're not just helping our country. We're helping the world, and the most people should just be happy with it and fine with it until you start hearing something about innocent people being killed. But I'm sorry, a lot of people has smuggler's blues, but that's kind of like what it sounds like. So I just hope we keep this up and keep going after it.
I just want my goal is to protect liberty from a growing threat of government. I almost said oppression. I don't think it's quite what I want, but overreach is a better word, right? So I don't like the idea of government mandating or dictating or unilaterally deciding life or death without me understanding what the process is. I understand the process of war.
And Matt, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that too, and I'm sure that most people feel that same way too. But at the same pace, you have to realize this. What we're seeing now is operations taking place, and we're not talking about what we're doing. This is how you take out these evil communist dictators, and we're not going after the oil. Trump don't care about their oil. This ain't a Bush Kuwait thing. Trump wants them to free their country and then let them do business with us.
And you want to
trade with them.
And Stephen, you want to know
nobody should know when and where and how we know what we know until it's over with. And if you tell people this is how we know, this is what we know, then what's that going to do? That's just going to give them an opportunity to change their plan and get away with it another way. So we just don't let the cat out of the bag right yet. That's just the thing. Everybody's just going to have faith in our government, in our system, have faith in our president. He has ended, 6-7 wars recently.
Stephen, did you just say have faith in the government?
Yeah.
What? Did you just say that?
Are you serious?
That's icky. That's not the way it works.
In this part of the operations, I do have faith. I have faith in Gabbard. I have faith in our FBI now. All of the people that are sitting around the table that are working on this, big issue.
But these are the same
issues.
agencies and some folks that have done things like Fast and Furious, like gun walking and stuff like that. I mean, we as conservatives
this is a whole new deck of cards. We're dealing with a whole new deck of cards here.
No, that's not true, Stephen. They've not flipped the entire FBI. There are many most of the FBI was the FBI during the Obama administration.
Maybe not the entire, but the ones that matter, the ones that do the planning, the ones that do the hard work, that do the intel, that do the oversight, all the ones that
your argument
the
is
table
just trust
them. Fight this.
Just trust them.
You know.
Like, it doesn't matter whether it's constitutional or not. Just trust them. They got it.
I do. I mean, I do, man. And here's the thing: if this was,
Stephen, would you agree that just trust them when it comes to FISA warrants and spying on American citizens for the purpose of rooting out the drug cartels in the United States?
Well, that was under a whole different thing.
No. I'm talking about Trump. I'm talking about these people.
It's still there.
These decision makers, right? The FISA courts. Spying on American citizens for the purpose of rooting out drug cartels in the United States. Just trust them?
They're not going to, but here's the thing. They're not just going to spy on every single American citizen, but if there are dirty actors within our country that need to be spied on, then I do agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're bringing any kind of substance into this country, if you're part of that operation, whether you're American or you're foreign, and you're bringing this substance in here, and it's killing our people, it's killing our children.
The exact same. By the way, Stephen, the exact same justification that the Obama FBI used to spy on Donald Trump. The exact same justification is what you just
trust
said.
Us.
You just said it's the exact It's the exact same
word
justification.
Word
for word.
But it's a different. I'm telling you guys, we have a better force. We have a better force behind the wheel this time.
Look, I trust. I trust Trump. I do. I like Trump. I trust Trump. I'm just pointing out. I love you, buddy, and thank you for listening. But you just described the exact justification that was made for the spying and the wiretapping that went on at Trump Tower. Is that, hey, look, we've got to do this because there's foreign actors and Russia and bad.
Right. They're like, trust us. We've got the rationale. It's somewhere. Remember Shifty Schiff was like, oh, yeah. We have all this documentation and stuff. It's in places. I mean, come on, guys.
I do have faith that I do have faith that the purpose behind this is in good faith.
Of course.
I do believe that the goal is to root out the drug dealing cartels that are pushing their poison into the United States of America. And I'm glad for that. But the Constitution prevents, or at least it's there to act as a block of the by any means necessary mentality. And I do think this is a gray area. I think it's a gray area in that I don't know that we're doing anything extra constitutional, except I just want to see your thought process. I don't want to see sources and methods. I just need to see your legal argument behind your ability to call this a military action, but not necessarily trigger the need for Congress to authorize it. That's all I want.
I think Trump was just feeling left out and wanted to do a regime change, and so here we go.
My greatest fear, Cameron, seriously, greatest fear is that someone's gotten to Trump and convinced him that the only way to root out the narcotics coming into the United States is for regime change in Venezuela. And this would be very unlike what he has done in his past.
And then Colombia and then Mexico.
Right. And then suddenly we got boots on the ground all over South America. That's my fear, that someone within the administration, I don't know who it would be, but someone within the administration has gotten to him in that level. We'll perhaps get to as many as we can. James and Mike and Josh, I don't know if I have time for you. It's 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That wraps it up for the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Have a great evening, folks. Mark Levin up next. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.